My stream has started. Check, check. Audio here, I think we do. The phone here. Not. There it is. Sure have audio, man. Check, check. Check, check. Speedy, you here yet? Speed dog? I got nothing. Gotta be my phone. This. Check, check. There we go. Alright, hey, we're gonna do our intro video. I'm gonna go make me a drink. I'll be right back. Thank you for checking in. Yeah, no, I'm not muted. I just didn't pull my mic down there. Hey, anyways, we'll start again. What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking in. It's Monday, October 9th, known to some of us as Columbus Day. What is up, Speedy? Thanks for checking in. I appreciate you, buddy. Let's see here. Speaking of Speedy, do you guys celebrate Columbus Day in England? Imagine not. I know Italians in Spain do because of his heritage, and obviously he was an explorer funded by Spain. So yeah, I didn't think so. All right. Oh well. Let's see what we got going on. We got Speedy. I think we got a long show this week. I hope we got a long show this week. Took a week off to try to get my ducks in a row. Hopefully we can keep our attention where it's supposed to be. I am trying a new thing this week, so we've got since I'm hosting it, also I've got a couple of different videos I'm going to try to share while we're watching. So I'm not really sure how it's going to work, but we're going to do our best. So we'll start with our sheet. Get that pinned up in the chat there. This document, for those of you who would like to follow along, is maybe, oh yeah, move chat. I figured out how to pop up my chat again. I couldn't figure it out last week. Figured it out this week. Got that there, and now we got that baby pinned. Unable to pin, something went wrong. Yes. B, can you pin that? Thanks, buddy. It won't let me pin stuff. Whatever. Maybe I unmoderated myself or something. Who knows? It's hard telling what's going on these days. Just heard my phone vibrate like crazy. No idea. Probably let me know I'll start my own show. So anyways, there's our document there. Roll back up to the top here. Oh, I messed up all this. No, I didn't. Here we go. So, intro video and speech. We don't do speeches. We haven't done a speech in a while. We used to do those presidential speeches. I'll get back into some of that. Patriot View now has, well, we've always had a YouTube channel, but I have been regularly updating it. I've been adding some more stuff to it. You guys can go over there and give a follow or subscribe, whatever they call it. Be much appreciated. I also started a Patreon for the channel, so please go check that out. And if you could help out there, that would be huge for me. It's patreon.com. I should probably put that in the chat. Patreon.com/PatriotView. They make it real easy because you can name your Patreon. So I only have one tier of membership available at this time. It's priced at $3, so it's cheaper to do that than for a Twitch sub. And Patreon takes 11% compared to Twitch at 50%. So one Twitch sub at $5 gets the streamer $250 take home. Basically, you net $250. And a $3 sub on Patreon gets the streamer $277. So it's $2 cheaper for you, and I get 27 more cents out of it. I don't have any subscribers yet, so I don't know how it's going to work, but that's the idea there. So it's better for everyone. I hope to eventually get enough to be able to donate proceeds from the show to the American Legion, or what I think would be awesome would be during a video game, like maybe for iRacing or American Truck Sim or something, do an event. Like I wanted to do a cannonball run in American Truck Simulator type of deal where you go from New York to LA or whatever, and then have a truck show like either before or after, and then if we got some money from the show doing that type of stuff, we could make a donation to like the winner's charity of choice or something like that. But we got to have support to make good things happen, and that's why I'm here. I'm not here to make money or pay my rent. My rent's paid, so I'm just here to be able to give more funding to any veterans organization that anybody wants. Truly, I mean, as long as it's reputable. I don't like giving money to organizations where their CEO makes $400,000 a year, but most of them are that way these days. So if you could find it in your hearts and wallets to share with the show, I would be very grateful. What did we do this week? Now, I didn't get quite all of this typed out. So I went to Texas. That's why we didn't do a show last week. I was actually going to do the show. I went to Corpus Christi. I was going to do the show from the coast on the Gulf of Mexico, but stuff ended up not happening the way I thought it was going to happen. Didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So I actually spent all day Monday driving home. It was, I think, 19 and a half hours. I drove with my buddy Justin and we drove down there. We left Thursday at probably like noon. Got down there Friday at slept in the tent for a few hours. I think we showed up for dinner at 5:30 p.m. So whatever that comes out to in hours, it's a lot. It was over 24, including our 3 hour stop. But had dinner. It was our friend Dustin's 40th birthday. He was a Marine sniper. Um, I don't even know. I mean, I met him. I met Dustin in 2007. We were both freshmen in college after our tenure in the military. So, anyways, it was his 40th birthday. So we drove all the way down there to Corpus Christi from Illinois. Like I said, it was 25 hours probably of driving, I would say, one way, and that included a lot of stops and snacks and pee breaks and everything else. But maybe a shot here or there, maybe. Don't know. But yeah, it was a good time. But anyways, we kind of got cut a little short, so that's why I didn't stream on Monday. I really wanted to do a stream. Um, my daughter let me borrow her iPad specifically so I could do a stream from the beach in Corpus Christi. But like I said, it just didn't happen. We ended up with no free time, and then my Justin's mom ended up not feeling the greatest, and her phone was on. Hey, Speedy, I appreciate that, buddy. I think you're the first one. I need to have a redemption for that. There ought to be a reward. You are awesome, though. But so Justin's mom wasn't feeling very good physically, and then apparently had put her phone on Do Not Disturb and didn't know it. And so he was trying to call her for like 6 hours and couldn't get a hold of her. So he was like, "Man, we gotta go." He's like, "I'm nervous. We gotta go. I gotta see my mom, make sure everything's doing good." So we just kind of packed it up and drove straight home too. So we did between the two of us. I'm sure 45 or 50 hours of driving in 3 days and 4 days, whatever it was. And we calculated up, we slept for 7.5 hours over that 3 days. So I really didn't have an image to do a show on Monday. It would have been shitty, and I would have been tired, and it would have not been put together well. So I made a Facebook post. Also, Patriot has Facebook. So if you guys, that's where I do most of my updates, because Twitch does not let you do, at least not that I'm aware of. It used to do where you could just do like, I'm going to do a show Thursday and 5:30 p.m. and you could just put one event in. Now it changed it to where you could only do weekly shows. Like, it won't let you just put in one random show. You have to make a schedule, so that's why it says every Monday at 5:30, even though some Mondays I don't stream. But for the Mondays I do post on Facebook or in my Discord if you're in the Discord that we won't be doing it. I try to most of the time. If not, Speedy's a pretty good gauge if we're streaming or not. I always appreciate Speedy. He's a great moderator. Puts in a lot of time to help everybody. He's a moderator on several channels, and as far as I know, he doesn't get paid. He don't charge me anyway. So thank you for your time there, Speedy. Texas was, let's see here. We really didn't do nothing. I mean, we went to dinner and then had breakfast together and did dude's birthday party, and we kind of had to roll. So it wasn't. I don't really have any good stories from Texas at all. I mean, I made a good friend, and the drive down there, you spend 50 hours in a car with a guy, you're bound to get to know him. But no crazy stories, man. We didn't go to no like machine gun shooting ranges. Didn't go to no rodeos. No Texas type of stuff. That's it. Watched the NFL yesterday. San Francisco looks like the real deal in all facets of the football game. Even their punter was on the mark. That dude dropped two within like the 3 yard line of the goal line. He looked good. And Dallas looked like hell, which it's like every year. The Cowboys are supposed to be hot shit, and then they find a way to shit the bed. So they have a good roster. I think they have a good enough roster to where it's believable that they could be good. Unlike the Bears. The Bears just suck every year. But the Cowboys did lose me some money. I picked a 15-leg parlay. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it was all simple things. Like, both quarterbacks had to throw for 200 yards. McCaffrey had to get a touchdown. George Kittle had to get 25 yards. Pollard had to get 25 yards. McCaffrey had to get 25 yards. Gallup had to get 25 yards. It was things like that. Like, as long as everybody basically caught two passes, I was going to get it. Well, Dak Prescott apparently left his throwing arm at home or in his dress or something, because he threw for like 120 yards and I didn't get. So it was only a $5 bet, but if all it would have come to fruition, I would have got $560. We'll figure out something, Speedy. We're gonna get you a gift or something, man. I don't have nothing as cool as like a 9/11 watch, like them things, but Yeah, so my fantasy football team sucks, and I apparently don't understand how the waiver wire works at all. I've put in like 3 claims for waiver wires. I've lost 3 weeks in a row. So that tells me, I think if you lose, you're supposed to get first pick, or maybe it goes by overall record. I don't know, but I put in like a pick or a waiver wire claim for like Brees Hall, who of course went off. I put in one for Romeo Dobbs, Green Bay wide receiver, who's just like 15 points consistently, which is what I need right now because I got Cooper Kupp and he was hurt all most of last year and then first 4 weeks of this year, which obviously he's my keeper though. You can't let a guy like that go. But so I lost 3 games in a row. I'm 2-3 now. Both of my wins were against the team that scored the lowest score of that week, and all 3 of my losses were against the team that scored the highest score of the week. So I don't know what to make of my team. It might not suck. I might just get the shit end of the stick every week. I see I got my Green Bay shirt on tonight. Packers go to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. I think that's going to be a good game. I look forward to watching Jair Alexander and Devontae Adams go at it. Hopefully, Alexander plays. They were saying maybe he wasn't, and he was limited participant in practice. I don't know, but also be looking forward to seeing Jordan Love, see if he continue to perform at a high level. Detroit Lions are stamping their name on the NFC North, huh? Like, if you guys, God bless it, ever heard of the Pat McAfee show? He's always talking about the same old Lions because every year they just suck, right? But this year they've dealt them the brand new Lions, and it's true, man. They're doing good. And just Jared Goff has come to life. I remember when he was drafted, I never heard of him, and he went to the Rams. I want to say the St. Louis Rams. I know it's not the Los Angeles Rams, and kind of let everybody down. I feel like, but he has had a rebirth in Detroit, and sometimes that's just what people need, and he's doing good. So it will definitely be hard to run it. Packers gonna have to keep winning some games if they're gonna be in contention for that NFC North title. Vikings, I don't know what's going on with them. They let Dalvin Cook go, and then they just suck. And then the Bears are still suck, and they always will. So what else? We watched some NASCAR. It was the Charlotte Roval this weekend. I got third place in my NASCAR fantasy. Now that I'm good at. I'm on a pretty good run this year. I pretty much got it locked up. I'm 634 points over the CIA Cowboy in second place, which there's only 4 races left, so I would have to, I don't know, do the math, but he has to beat me by like 150 points per race for every race. So basically, as long as I put one driver in, I win. That's exciting. AJ Allmendinger won the Charlotte Roval, which eliminated Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Brad Keselowski, and Ross Chastain, who I've dubbed Wreck-It Ross. They all got eliminated from the playoffs, which leaves 8 drivers left: Byron, Truex, Hamlin, Larson, Buescher, Christopher Bell, Reddick, Blaney. Yeah, that's 8. And there's 4 races left. So there's 3 more races and 4 more get eliminated, and then they'll go into Atlanta with the last 4 drivers. NHL preseason has started. Of course, the Blackhawks suck. They're my favorite team, but you know, I'm excited for another season to start. I have a lot of teams to watch this year. I'm a Blackhawks fan. Like, I want them to win every time. But there's also other teams that I love watching play, and I also want them to win as long as it's not against the Blackhawks. Like the Rangers, they've become one of my favorite teams to watch. They got Artemi Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, Capo Caco. They're always throwing pucks at the net, while Chris Kreider and Jacob Trouba cause frustration for the opposition. Trouba and Matthew Tkachuk are 2 of my favorite disruptors in the NHL. Like, I don't even call them the goons or enforcers or anything anymore because they don't fight like they used to fight. They are just disruptors. They're like the ice hockey version of Dennis Rodman. They're always pissing people off, always annoying people, and I love watching them guys play, especially Matt Tkachuk. He's suck. I like to watch Florida solely because of him. Like, I could give a shit about anybody else I couldn't even tell you another player on the entire team, to be honest with you. But he is awesome. And then last year, got that playoff goal where he put it in the net and just walked off the ice because the gate was right there. That was funny. The Toronto Maple Leafs, it's not Leaves. Don't ask me why. They picked up Max Domi in this offseason and Ryan Reeves. But Max Domi is also one of my favorite players. And so the Leafs had a good team last year. They picked up a lot. They did Max Domi. I think they picked up Nylander this year, and then they got Ryan Reeves from Minnesota, which I don't know if it's from Minnesota or if he was just on a one-year deal, but it's bound to be. I think they're bound to be a damn good team. I've loved the Boston Bruins since Happy Gilmore. I mean, who doesn't love Happy Gilmore? They brought back one of my all-time favorite players, Milan Lucic. He is one of the last enforcers in hockey and one of the toughest SOBs to ever play. He just brings a edge of attitude to the hockey rink that very, very few people can match. And you don't see him lose many fights. I think he might have lost one fight. They also got Charlie Coyle. He's a young, good guy, number 13. They got the Rat, Brad Marchand. He's one of the disruptor guys. And David Pastrnak is really good. They used, think their goalie, is it? They got a good goalie too. I just can't remember his name right now, but whatever. They do have the potential to be an exciting team. Patrick Kane had surgery in the offseason, and his agent claims that he will not sign with the team before he's fully healed. I'm assuming that Kaner wants to make sure he can still perform at an elite level before committing to a team and organization. Thinking maybe the Blackhawks bring him back to sauce some pucks to the apparent next GOAT, Connor Bedard. Kaner probably does not have a lot of years left in his hockey career, so maybe he comes back to mentor the young prodigy. I was pretty butthurt last year when the Hawks dealt away Kaner and Taves. The news came around the same time as the news about the Packers not dealing with Aaron Rodgers, trading him to the Jets. So I was not a happy sports fan by the end of last year. I was not happy at all. But I like the Hurricanes. Sebastian Aho. Oh yeah, this is all right. Here we go. This is my first experiment to see how this is gonna work. So maximize this screen. Good. Restart video. So I'm preparing my video on this screen. So Sebastian Aho is great and doesn't get credit for being as good or as tough as he is. And I'm going to show you a video. In this video, Sebastian Aho gets popped in the mouth with a puck. He went to the locker room, got stitched up, and was back on the ice 10 minutes later. So we're going to watch the video together. Don't void me or violate me for copyrights. Okay? Oh, my hat's like blinking out there. Got to mix that color up later. I can do. Actually, I'll just do it right now. Let's see here. HD webcam. Let's see. Change the similarity a little bit. Wearing high contrast colors. How's that? Better? No. Better. Oh, but now look. Now we're getting some shadow from down there. Crank her back up then. Huh, that sucks. Felt like it wasn't like that when I was practicing my show. Oh well, we're just gonna have to deal with half my head being. What if I turn my head around? Hold on. Can't even tell it's green. It's green and gold, but yeah, whatever. We'll wear the hat this way. Looks better. So anyways, alright. Watch this video together. Sebastian Aho getting smoked in the mouth. Fuck.
Someone to challenge him, and when no one did, why not? Just let it fly.
And that's why Islanders have not challenged the points.
Engvall shot.
Boom.
And it goes
right
in.
It went in the goal.
With chaos surrounding the Carolina net.
Mouth.
Might have been
deflected. Look at him. He's leaking.
Leaking. Sebastian Aho of the Hurricanes is bleeding. And there will be a few replays of this one. For now, it's 2-0 Islanders. That might have gone in off Aho's face.
Yeah, it did.
That's the deflection in front.
That was the face redirect. Are they going to show us another replay?
There were chances at the other end. We were just talking about it, coming in from the point, and then the Islanders, there it is, a shot up high. Oh, man, off of Aho's face, but then Brock Nelson corrals that puck. It's a knuckleball.
That wasn't even close. Like, what was that guy shooting
down,
at?
It does get to, it gets to the ice. He hits it out of the air, not a high stick. Legal.
Someone to challenge him, and when no one did,
All right, I'm glad that worked out. But anyways, that's my hat's invisible now. So crazy. So like you see right here, where you can see this right there. See a little bit of that coming through. That's just from a shadow. Shadow of my chair. That's neon green, like Mountain Dew green. And my hat is dark green, like Hunter green, like Packer green. It's invisible. I don't like it at all. I don't like it one bit. Oh yeah, you can see that one good. Got this for $8. That's a reason. There we go. We'll go with the white hat. A little bit bigger. Wear my green stuff later. I still got my shirt on. Anyways, yeah, so I don't think Sebastian Aho gets enough credit for being tough, because that dude ate that puck right to his mouth. And I don't remember how many stitches he got, but he went and was back in the game, or back on the bench 10 minutes later. Let's see, where here. Yeah. Hockey players are a different breed. That was the punchline there. I don't remember the last time LeBron James got 30 stitches and went back in the game, or any football player, name one. They used to be tough. You hear stories about the guy who's like, "Yeah, just tape my finger together. It'll be fine." But you never really know if that stuff's true or not. Besides Aho, the Canes have Kotkaniemi, which is another one of my present day favorite players. Seth Jarvis is a worker. He's always Natchez is a worker, always involved. And the big fella Jordan Staal, who don't love the Stalls, right? They're both good. Andrei Svechnikov is good, and another former Blackhawk, Teuvo Teravainen, which is one of the good shooters and passers. And they have a really good team. They got a few defensive greats: Brent Burns, Tony DeAngelo. Tony DeAngelo probably belongs in that Dennis Rodman conversation earlier, and Brady Shea. And then, of course, Alex Ovechkin, the grade 8, is going to take the Capitals to the playoffs, just like every single year. Oh yeah, Sidney Crosby. What the hell is going on up in Pittsburgh? Why is Sidney Crosby fighting? Someone has to explain this to me. I don't know if we got any hockey fans in here. I'm watching chat, even though I minimized my chat. That thing. Oh, it was under the video I watched. Sidney Crosby is not a tough guy. Sidney Crosby is a little bit of a diva. I mean, he's I don't know, what has he had, 47 concussions or something? Like, is there no one else on the entire team that can start shit with the opposition? That just seems super irresponsible, because he's still a good puck handler and he's still a good shot. Why is he the one out there fighting? Come on, guys. Crazy. Anyways, I'm really excited about hockey this year. I think there's been a lot of great teams built in this year's offseason. I'm super excited to watch it. I'm assuming that the Packers aren't going to go to the playoffs. I mean, they're 3-2 or 2-3, or I don't even, one of the two. But I'm still sticking with, I don't think Jordan Love's the answer. So if I can't count on these guys, by week 10 or something, I'll be balls deep in hockey, watching the hockey. I love hockey. Even if there's teams that you don't root for, hockey is just fun to watch. I think I'm going to do fantasy hockey this year too. I talked to my fantasy football guys, and a couple of them said they'd be interested in doing some fantasy hockey. I think we're just going to do like a free year just to figure it out. So, hey, anybody in chat, if you want to try a hockey fantasy football, hockey fantasy, an NHL fantasy, whatever I'm trying to say. I think I'm going to start a fantasy deal for hockey. So we'll definitely be looking for a few people to join that. We'll have a draft, I don't know, sometime. But, all right. Now we're going to move on to the staple of our show that we do every single episode. That is our This Week in History. This Week in History involves 2 weeks due to me skipping last week's show. There's some pretty good stuff in here. Always is. It's always so hard for me to to not just say every piece of history I can find, because I love it all, and I don't think that we celebrate our history, and not just our history, other people's history enough. So we'll start way back in the day, October 7th, 1765. So this is even prior to the Declaration of Independence. October 7, 1765, the Stamp Act Congress convened in New York City with representatives from 9 colonies meeting in protest to the British Stamp Act, which imposed the first direct tax by the British Crown upon the American colonies. Needless to say, this was the beginning of the end for British rule. Shortly after this was the luxury tax, known as the tea tax, and back then Americans apparently did not mess around with taxation. So a little bit different now. I think the tea tax I think was like a 2.5% luxury tax just on luxury items. So, tea was obviously one of those. A 2.5% tax, but we get taxed at like 37% now. Think about that. We have gotten soft and compliant, and we're sheeps. Anyways, September 29th, 1789, Congress created the United States Army. It's got 1,000 enlisted men and officers. Happy birthday! So the United States Army was created after the Declaration of Independence. Was that or not? Because before that it was all militias, right? October 5th, 1813, Shawnee Indian chief Tecumseh was defeated and killed during the War of 1812. Regarded as one of the greatest American Indians, he was a powerful orator who defended his people against white settlement. War of 1812 broke out. He joined the British as a brigadier general and was killed at the Battle of Thames in Ontario. And as we spoke about previously on this show, General Sherman, his middle name, given to Tecumseh from his father in honor of Chief Tecumseh, Shawnee. And in Illinois, we have a Shawnee National Park honoring tribe, his people. October 3rd, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued a proclamation designating the last Thursday in November as Thanksgiving Day. October 8th, 1861, the Great Fire of Chicago erupted. According to legend, it started when Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicked over a lantern in her barn on DeKalb Street. Over 300 persons were killed and 90,000 were left homeless as the fire leveled 3.5 square miles, destroying 17,450 buildings. Financial losses totaled over $200 million, and I'm sure that's 200 of back in the day dollars, because if you burned 17,000 buildings today, yeah, you're talking trillions probably. October 5th, 1877, following a 1,700-mile retreat, Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce Indians surrendered to U.S. cavalry troops at Bear's Paw near Chinook, Montana. Quote, "From where the sun now stands, I will fight no more forever," he declared. October 1st, 1908, Henry Ford's Model T, a universal car designed for the masses, went on sale for the first time. Little did we know he was going to ruin the industry forever. I mean, yeah, streamline. September 26th, 1918. The last major battle of World War I, the Battle of the Argonne, began as combined force of French and Americans attacked the Germans along a 40-mile front. There was a lot more World War I history on this, but it was all, not all, most of it was like political type stuff. Like the British agreed to let Hitler take over only half of Czechoslovakia, but anyways, he took over the whole thing or whatever. It was stuff that, a lot of factoids, not necessarily highlights. October 8th, 1918, during World War I in the Argonne Forest in France, so this is 2 weeks after the last major battle, U.S. Sergeant Alvin, this is 2 weeks after, I know this guy, he got a Medal of Honor. So 2 weeks after the last major battle in France, U.S. Sergeant Alvin C. York single-handedly took out a German machine gun battalion, killing over a dozen and capturing 132. He was later awarded the Medal of Honor and the French Croix de Guerre. I'm going to learn more about that guy. October 3rd, 1929, Yugoslavia became the official name of the Kingdom of Serbs. Croats and Slovenes. October 3rd, 1932, Iraq gained independence from Britain and joined the League of Nations. Well, Britain, Speedy, I got news for you guys. You shouldn't let them have independence because now they're assholes. October 4th, 1943, the island of Corsica became the first French territory in Europe freed from Nazi control as Free French troops liberated the city of Bastia. Corsica has a long history of war and being taken over and held by foreign occupiers. October 1st, 1946, 12 Nazi leaders were sentenced to death at the International War Crimes Tribunal in Nuremberg, Germany. I thought that I did have a list of names. I did not put the names in there. That's on me. Sorry. The People's Republic of China was founded in 1949 on October 1st. Mao Zedong as the chairman. That was the first Chinese name I ever learned about. October 6, 1949. Tokyo rose. Her name was Iva Deguri de Aquino. Was sentenced in San Francisco to 10 years imprisonment and fined $10,000 for treason. She had broadcast music and Japanese propaganda to American troops in the Pacific during World War II. She was pardoned by President Gerald Ford in 1977. I'm not sure on the math here, but 1949 to 1977, yeah, seems like longer than 10 years. If she didn't pay her fine, like why would they hold her for almost 20, 30, 28 years? Why would they hold her for 20 years on a 10-year deal? I don't know. Corrupt. September 30th, 1955, actor James Dean was killed in a car crash in California at age 24. Although he made just 3 major films, Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, and Giant, he remains one of the most influential actors. I had no idea that James Dean only made 3 movies. Our parents and grandparents talk about James Dean like he was the second coming to Jesus. Did he do music too? Anybody know? Speedy, you in chat still? Did James Dean, was he just an actor? Probably should have Googled that before I talked about it. Whatever. October 4th, 1957, the space age began as the Russians launched the first satellite into orbit. Sputnik 1 weighed just 184 pounds and transmitted a beeping radio signal for 21 days. The remarkable accomplishment by Soviet Russia sent a shockwave through the American political leadership, resulting in U.S. efforts to be the first on the moon. 57, so it took us another 12 years, right? We hit the moon in 69 or something like that. What's up, Speedy? September 6, 1960, the first ever televised presidential debate occurred between presidential candidates John F. Kennedy and Richard M. Nixon. Many who watched were inclined to say Kennedy won the debate, while those who listened only to the radio thought Nixon did better. Nixon, who declined to use makeup, appeared somewhat haggard, looking on contrast to Kennedy. Nixon's a very looking individual anyway, and Kennedy was a pretty good-looking man. September 27th, 1964, after a 10-month investigation, the Warren Commission report issued stating a lone gunman had been responsible for the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in Dallas on November 24th, 1963. October 4th, 1965, Pope Paul VI became the first pope to visit the U.S. and the first to address the United Nations. I'm not a Catholic, and there were several popes in this month's history, from like Pope John Paul the First. Pope died like 6 days after taking office, or whatever they call it. Pope John Paul II replaced him. There's a lot about the Catholics, but figured this guy's the first guy to visit the U.S. and address the UN. Put him in there. Thanks, Pope John or Pope Paul. It doesn't say John Paul, but I'm pretty sure it's John Paul. Pope Paul VI. Not Catholic. September 30th, 1966, Nazi war criminals Albert Speer and Baldur von Schirach, yeah, we're going with Schirach, were released from Spandau prison after serving 20 years. The prison, originally built for 600 inmates, was left with only one prisoner, former Deputy Führer Rudolf Hess. I would like to have been there when Deputy Führer Hess was the sole occupant of that prison. Take the head. What up? So we got October 2nd, 1968. California's Redwood National Park was established. Redwoods are the tallest of all trees, growing up to 400 feet during a lifetime that can span 2,000 years. The Redwood National Park's birthday is actually the motivation for our break video today. So, get there in a minute. October 1st, 1979, after 70 years of American control, the Panama Canal Zone was formally handed over to Panama. I always thought that was an interesting thing. Like, did we just go down there and dig a trench through the center of their country and be like, yeah, I know this is your country, but no thanks. We're digging a giant hole here. Nothing, man. I figured that was you by the name. Thanks for popping in. This is my weekly show called The Patriot View, where we talk about everything, anything and everything, especially if it has to do with patriotism. So we are in the middle of our This Week in History segment, which I do every week because I'm a history buff. I love it, and I think our culture is guiding us away from our history. You know, we're going more towards progressivism and less towards conservationalism. And I believe that we should know our past before we move on to our future. So this is my little 20 minutes of fame here to get to tell some people about the things that I think are important in our history. And Sharpay Lady, what's going on? Thank you for checking in. Where are we at here? We're in 1990, so everybody in chat should be old enough to remember the rest of these events, right? October 3rd, 1990. After 45 years of Cold War division, East and West Germany were reunited as the Federal Republic of Germany. At some point in time, the wall came down. I think we talked about that last week, maybe? October 4th, 1993, Russian tank soldiers loyal to President Boris Yeltsin shelled the Russian White House, crushing a hardline communist rebellion. Yeltsin then fired Vice President Alexander something and jailed the other opposition leaders. We all know the name Boris Yeltsin for sure. Yeah, Cake, we got a YouTube channel as well for the Patriot View. It has all of our past episodes on there. This is episode 22. We started doing this in like February of this year. So, Speedy can post a link to our YouTube in there. Speedy is the most awesomest mod. And you can go back and check out any episode you want. Actually, there was one episode we didn't get the uploaded to YouTube, but other than the one, there's 21 on there, 20 on there. And we're always looking for people to come on the show, man. So if you have time and you have an opinion and you want to get on here and bullshit with me, I'm always hitting the vape and always that's my don't tread on me cup. Hell yeah. Always having a drink and trying to enjoy myself, you know. So make history and confrontational conversation enjoyable for those of you who watch. October 8th, 1998. The U.S. House of Representatives voted 258 to 176 to approve a resolution launching an impeachment inquiry of President Bill Clinton. It was only the third time in U.S. history the House had launched a formal impeachment inquiry of a sitting president. The other two were Andrew Johnson and, of course, Tricky Dick. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Yeah, explain that in your underwear. He wasn't that bad, though. Looking back, he wasn't that bad, right? Like, all of us, I think 100% of America would be like, yeah, Bill Clinton over Joe Biden. Yes, please, thank you. Probably over Trump, to be honest with you, because that dude's kind of a nut, too. I mean, they all are, but at the time, I remember, like, I wasn't even old enough to know what a blowjob was, and this guy's on TV getting blowies from his secretaries or interns, whatever they're ice skaters. All right, so we got birthdays and holidays coming up. September 26th, American folk legend Johnny Appleseed was born in Leominster, Massachusetts, as John Chapman. For 40 years, he traveled through Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois planting orchards. He was a friend to wild animals and was regarded as a great medicine man by Native Americans. That's from my home area. Thanks, Speedy. September 27th, American Revolutionary leader Samuel Adams was born in Boston, Mass. That's new from Massachusetts. He was a passionate, vocal man who helped ignite the revolution and served as a delegate to the First and Second Continental Congresses. He was a signer of the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of Confederation. And I will give a cheers to Mr. Samuel Adams because there's a beer named after him, so he was probably a little bit of a drinker too. October 2nd, Indian political and spiritual leader Mohandas. Oh, we're talking, okay, Indian as in from the country of India, not American Indian. Indian political and spiritual leader Mohandas or Mahatma Gandhi was born in Porbandar, India. He achieved worldwide fame for his devout lifestyle and nonviolent resistance, which ended British rule over India. He was assassinated by a religious fanatic in the garden of his home in New Delhi on January 30th, 1948. October 4th, Ruthven B. Hayes, the 19th U.S. President, was born in Delaware, Ohio. He served from March 4th, 1877 to March 3rd, 1881. He was Republican, best known for his much-quoted statement, "He serves his party who serves his country best." He serves his party best who serves his country best. Basically saying it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican or whatever, America first. America. Probably the first libertarian. October 5th is Chester A. Arthur, the 21st President of the United States. He was born in Fairfield, Vermont. He succeeded to the presidency following the assassination of James A. Garfield. He served from September 20th, 1881 to March 3rd, 1885, but was not nominated by the Republican Party for a second term. October 6th, engineer and inventor George Westinghouse was born in Central Bridge, New York. He developed air brakes for trains and was later responsible for the adoption of alternating current systems for electric power transmissions in the U.S. He was also the first employer to give his employees paid vacations. I did not know that last part. Even whenever I copy-pasted this shit from the history dot whatever, I did not read the last sentence for whatever reason. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so obviously we all know Westinghouse Utilities, right? I mean, half everything we owned is Westinghouse brand, so I'm sure their family, probably like Rockefellers of the electric world. October 8th, American fighter pilot Ace Rickenbacker was born in Columbus, Ohio. He commanded the 1st United States Aeronautical Unit to take part in World War I and was credited with 26 victories, becoming America's leading ace. He was awarded the Medal of Honor. He was the commander of the 1st Aero Unit. That's pretty cool. In World War I, because that's the first war that we had airplanes for, right? So he was the first commander of the 1st Aero Unit. Had to be. During combat, anyway. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy, Eddie. October 9th. Now, all you old-timers know this one. John Lennon was born in Liverpool, England. He was a member of the Beatles, an influential rock group which captivated audiences first in England and Germany and later in America and throughout the world. He was murdered in New York City on December 8th, 1980. I believe that later there would be a song. The Day the Music Died. That was American Pie. That was by Don McLean. That was written about John Lennon, right? I think. I believe my Uncle Brad told me that once whenever I was, young. He had to teach me all the history. Pretty sure Uncle Brad told me that was written about John Lennon. October 9th is this is fantastic. I just learned this shit this year. October 9th is celebrated as about 100 holidays. Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day being among the most prominent. Columbus Day was first celebrated on October 12th, 1792, the 300th anniversary of his landing. On the 400th anniversary of Columbus landing in America, President Benjamin Harrison declared it a federal holiday and called Columbus the pioneer of progress and enlightenment. Some writers of history say that it wasn't declared a national holiday until 1937. It's hard to find people who were alive in 1892, so I don't have a direct answer on which one's accurate. Columbus was Italian, sailing with funding from Spain, so many Italians and Spanish love and celebrate the day in their home countries. Cancel culture has moved in and canceled Columbus Day in several states, renaming it Indigenous Peoples Day in some, but keeping their observances on the same day to take advantage of the day off due to the federal holiday. Only 16 states still exclusively call it Columbus Day. List and details are too in-depth for me to track, let alone try to explain to others, but if you would like to know what states call it what, there is a map and like some histories and when it got moved to what. There literally is like 60 different names. It's not just Columbus Day anymore. Like my kids didn't have school today, and I'm like, why don't you have school? It's Columbus Day. Okay. Well, then I started doing research on Columbus Day, and what a mess. Everybody's mad at this dude for like sailing some ships over here. He's definitely a bad guy. He's definitely a terrorist. Can't believe that allowed him to sail ships here. Somebody paid for that. Cancel Rocket shit. My question is, why all the hate towards Columbus? Are people not aware that countries are formed by bloodshed and exploration? I challenge anyone to find me a border that cost no blood to form. Name me a country or even a state in our country. I mean, find me a border of a country that someone at some point in time did not bleed in service of that border. There's just not one. That's how all our countries have been formed forever. It's just I think people are like too soft. They just don't want to accept the fact that young men have to die to get shit done in real life. It's just it's not all unicorns and Barbie dolls. At some point in time, human life has to be given for your cause. That's a period. That's it. Upcoming events for veterans and first responders. As always, if you have any spare time and are a civilian, check out this link that's got all the local events for veterans in your area. They're always looking for volunteers to help. And if you're a veteran, same link. It's got all the local events for you if you're looking for jobs or cell phones or cats or sunglasses. Probably not as cool as these ones, but all that stuff. You can just type in your area and it'll tell you every event in your area. So that's cool. Vet Ticks and First Ticks reminder. Vet Ticks got my logo. It's above my left shoulder. Right there. That logo. It's got a QR code on it. That is for my referral link. If you are a veteran or a first responder, you put your phone up to that thing, and it's going to take you to their website, and it's free tickets. Not free because you have to pay like a $15 processing fee. But if you order one ticket or 4 tickets, it's $15 across the board. Like I've been to the Blackhawks. I've seen Stone Temple Pilots, Bush, Slipknot, Adam Sandler, anything you could imagine. Monster Jam. I've took my family to Monster Trucks. 4 tickets every time across the board, $15. It's an awesome organization that gets tickets donated by pretty much whatever sponsors putting on the show, and all they ask is that you're a veteran or first responder, and you can get it. And Katy Perry, thanks, woman. Yeah, it took us to Katy Perry too. That was an incredible show. So definitely check out Vet Ticks and First Ticks if you're a veteran or first responder, and if you're not, again, civilians, you can make a donation to them. Whether you can donate $5, like it doesn't have to be a lot, but it's all good stuff. I'd rather you donate to my Patreon, but Katy Perry did wave at me. It's the awesomest story. So I took my daughter and her cousin to Katy Perry. It was somebody's like 10th birthday or 12th, 13th birthday, whatever it was. Took 2 little girls, right? And it was right after I had wrecked the living shit out of my motorcycle. So I was in like it wasn't a wheelchair, it was a wheel scooter. It was like had like handlebars. It was like a little 4x4 scooter. And so I got to the ticket. I'm like, they're like, oh yeah, your tickets are on the 3rd floor. I'm like, well, I can't walk up 3 flights of stairs. I can't even walk. And they're like, oh, no problem. We've got handicap seats for you. So me and my family are the only people in this handicap section, right? And I'm up there, I may or may not be tipping back a few whiskeys. Well, after about 30 whiskeys, Katy Perry is floating around on this planet, and I'm waving at her, and she waves back at me. So after the show, I'm like, I can't believe Katy Perry waved at me. This is the greatest day of my life. She's lucky I'm married because, if she had long hair at that time, it might have been something different. But I got to thinking after the show, I was in the handicap section. I bet she thought that me being a grown-ass man sitting in a handicap section, she probably thought that I was like with a special needs group or something. So I'm like, I was feeling so good about this. I thought Katy Perry wanted to be with me, and then no, she was probably just waving at the handicap kids because that's what she does. So sucks to suck. Anyways, coming up on break. Veteran Spotlight. We need submissions for our Veteran Spotlight. If you guys know any veterans or any family of any veterans or anybody who would speak on behalf of a veteran, I want to get back to doing Veteran Spotlights for our break videos. I want to highlight the normal people, the average Joe, the guys who aren't at NASCAR races or football games holding American flags. You know, the guys who don't get any sort of recognition. I just want to give them 5 minutes of fame for our small group of viewers here that would appreciate them. So on that, we'll go to break. This break video is a little longer than usual, but in the spirit of Redwood National Park's birthday, we're going to watch it. It's 12 minutes. I'm going to go empty the bucket, fill the cup, and I will join you as soon as we're done with the break video.
Titans, cloud sweepers, mammoths in the mist, a living fossil, one that has existed for eons, enduring centuries of nature's upheaval, glaciers, earthquakes, fires, and floods. Sequoias impervians, the sole surviving member of a genus whose ancestors evolved during the time of the dinosaurs, and whose lineage has persisted through the millenniums relatively unchanged. Can you imagine redwoods growing in Alaska, Canada, or Montana? 20 million years ago, these ancient trees grew in scattered locations throughout North America. Over time, the shifting of continents, collision of land masses, and uplift of major mountain ranges in the west led to long-term ecological and climatic changes. Changes that continued through the last ice age to modern times and shaped the redwood forest of today. A forest that continues to both expand and contract in response to global warming. A forest now restricted to this 450-mile corridor along the Pacific coast. A place where cool, wet winters continually bathe the forest in moisture. Over 100 inches of rain falls here each year. During the short, dry summers, warm layers of air from inland meet the cold waters of the Pacific, creating a thick fog that blankets the coast. Fog water, absorbed through the leaves, and fog dripping from the trees contributes almost half of the moisture they need annually. And fog may explain why redwoods grow so tall. Rising up through the mist to over 300 feet, redwoods are one of the tallest living things on Earth, dwarfing the Statue of Liberty, which stands at 240 feet. The average age of a coast redwood at maturity is 500 to 600 years, while some trees reach 2,000 years old. Of all the conifers, the coast redwood has one of the smallest cones, about the size of an olive. Luckily, the redwood doesn't depend on seeds alone to reproduce. Around the base of a redwood trunk grows a gnarled mass of living shoots known as root burls. Burls remain dormant until an injury to the parent tree releases the chemical brakes, sending shoots skyward. The new sprouts utilize the mature root system of the parent tree and generally take years to struggle up into the forest canopy. You can often spot these family trees during a walk in a redwood grove. A circle of great trees surrounding an older mammoth tree, a stump or a vacant spot where the parent tree has fallen. These trees are not individuals, but clones of the parent tree, thrust up from a single ancient stem and connected at the roots. For their size, redwoods have a very shallow root system, extending down only 10 to 12 feet, but radiating outward for several hundred feet. This web of roots intertwines with neighbor trees, enabling them to join forces in collecting water and standing up to wind and floods. The tremendous limbs of the redwood drop during windstorms. On the way to the forest floor, they knock off other limbs and branches, creating a path of sunlight to help seeds sprout. Think twice about hiking in the redwoods on windy days. Redwoods are uniquely suited to their environment, resisting the common perils of other trees. Tannin, a chemical found in the wood, leaves, and branches, make it very resistant to insect damage or fungi. Tannin also gives the heartwood its rich red color. The thick bark, 6 to 12 inches on a mature tree, resists fire and insulates from heat. Once or twice a century, conditions are right for the spread of fire in the understory. A ground fire can set the outer bark smoldering. Vigorous flames could heat the bark enough in spots to kill the cambium, the living layer underneath. Subsequent fires have been known to burn away the bark and wood to create a scar, a cavity, or a hollow. Wind or age pushes most redwoods to a shattering death on the forest floor. Saturated with water, the fallen giant continues to contribute to the forest environment. Fungi and other microorganisms convert its wood into nutrients for plants. Insects and small animals find food and shelter among the down debris. Seedlings grow on its decaying wood, and life begins again. Standing among the tall trees, your gaze is often turned up to examine the straight trunk and mass of green foliage that forms the roof within the forest canopy. While you listen, you may hear a series of barks and cries from the spotted owl, or the deep hoots of the great horned owl, the Steller's jay, red-breasted nuthatch, Swainson's thrush, and other woodland birds make their home amid the redwoods. The damp shade of this rainforest creates ideal conditions for amphibians. While amphibian numbers decline worldwide, the red-legged frog, Pacific giant salamander, rock-skinned newt, and many more moisture-loving creatures have a refuge here. Not all the redwood forest wildlife lives within the trees. The creeks that flow beneath the canopy, with their deep pools and clear, cold waters, shelter steelhead and salmon. The forest floor is a great place to look for banana slugs. This welcome resident voraciously processes moss, duff, leaves, and stems, recycling its environment, producing new soil. While the banana slug eats all types of plant matter, it leaves redwood seedlings undisturbed. Together, the redwoods and their understory of trees, shrubs, herbs, flowers, and animals form a complex climax community. Left undisturbed by humans or natural catastrophe, the community will perpetuate itself indefinitely. Indeed, these ancient ambassadors have survived wind, earthquakes, fire, and floods for millions of years, until their most formidable threat stepped ashore only 150 years ago. Explorers
Humans,
seeking
no
shorter
doubt.
routes to the Pacific, 49ers in search of gold, and pioneers seeking a new life invaded the redwood forest.
Confounded by the tree's size, early loggers bypassed redwoods in favor of the more familiar fir and spruce. Equipment hadn't been made that could cut, transport, or mill the colossal trees. The respite was short-lived. By the turn of the century, one logging company was harvesting 8.5 million board feet per year. By 1929, extraction increased to about 500 million board feet annually. And by the middle of the 20th century, bulldozers, chainsaws, and modern trucks accelerated cutting. The public became increasingly concerned, stunned by the devastation. In 1918, the first major organization committed to saving the redwoods began. The Save the Redwoods League, made up of conservationists, concerned citizens, and influential politicians, helped establish a number of state and federally protected preserves. In the first 10 years, public opinion and congressional sentiments raised awareness, collected funds, and set aside thousands of acres that formed the nucleus of Prairie Creek, Del Norte Coast, and Jedediah Smith Redwood State Parks. While more redwood groves were purchased, cutting continued adjacent to these preserves, disrupting the rainforest microclimate, exposing the forest to drier conditions. Even those redwoods in state parks were threatened by erosion and freeway construction. It was clear to some that the old-growth redwoods were still in danger. By 1968, public outcry reached such a pitch that Congress supported the establishment of Redwood National Park. Today, more than 100,000 acres flourish under the protection of Redwood National and State Parks. The redwood forest is a living laboratory for restoration practices. It provides critical habitat for many endangered and threatened species. Designated an International Biosphere Reserve, it serves as a regional landscape for learning, in which monitoring, research, education, and training are encouraged. As a World Heritage Site, the Redwood region is recognized as an outstanding place of universal significance. This is your personal classroom, whose wonders wait to be explored. Share in the responsibility to ensure that the countless generations ahead have the same classroom to enjoy. Trees can teach us tenacity, patience, serenity, and respect.
Oh yeah, thank you, trees. I think there's a highway that goes through there somewhere where you can drive your car through a tree, right? Or it used to be. Maybe that tree died or something, but that video was brought to us by the National Park Service. All right. The National Park Service gives us a lot of content. All of their work is what's called the public domain because they are government-funded employees that are working on government time, whatever. It's just part of their job, basically, to produce this stuff. So all that stuff is in what is called the public domain, which allows us to freely use all of that content for whatever we want, pretty much. Thank you for the National Park Service for that awesome video. And that was an old video that came out in 2000. But they've got tons of videos on their site. Let's see, I've got somewhere. I didn't put it ahead. But anyways, it's youtube.com/@RedwoodNPS. So Redwood National Park Service. They've got like 3D virtual tours, a lot of videos on the prescribed fires that they do. So like every X amount of years or whatever, they have to light a certain amount of shit on fire to recycle the ground, basically. But yeah, National Park Service is a great thing. If I was younger and in better shape, I would definitely consider doing that as a career. But glad that we realized how unique and important that could be, or it was completely over by us. So, moving on, we have some congressional activity. This congressional activity is directly related to the Russian shenanigans that's going on. I have a gnat that's driving me crazy. Kill it. To Representative Mike Collins, China is a bigger threat to the United States than Russia. So the Georgia Republican has voted against providing military aid to Ukraine as he advocates for doing more to arm Taiwan, the self-governed island that's at risk of military aggression from Beijing. For Collins and other Republican lawmakers, Taiwan and Ukraine are effectively rivals for a limited pool of U.S. military assistance. That's not necessarily how Taiwan and many of its supporters see it. They view Taiwan's fate as closely linked to that of Ukraine as it struggles to push back a Russian invasion. So Taiwan is a little island off the coast of China that got him. Is always on the brink of chaos, I guess. I feel like it's kind of like Japan. I don't really know. I'm not super educated on that front, so I don't want to speak too much out of ignorance, but I don't think the U.S. should be sending anybody any money. It blows my mind how much, like we talked not last week, I guess 2 weeks ago, about how much money we sent to the Ukraine. It was like 113 billion or trillion or billion, 113 billion dollars, and I broke it down to where an average public school tuition, like Purdue or Central Florida, or there was another big name college in there, Arizona State, it would buy like 28 million Americans a college education, but instead we're sending that money to the Ukraine for whatever. And yes, I get made fun of for calling it the Ukraine, like it's a jungle, but I don't give a shit. But yeah, Taiwan also wants our money, and so that's what they're saying. They're rivals because they're not rivals in technology. They're not rivals in geographical rivals. Like they're not fighting for borders. Basically, they're just both kind of close to Russia and both on the brink of getting their ass kicked by Russia all the time. So they want our money. That's it. I feel like that's about every country in the world wants American money. I don't agree with sending them any of it. I think we should keep our money to defend our. If America has interests in other countries, so say like Ukraine, I can tell you what America's interest is in Ukraine. Ukraine has like 70% of the Earth's uranium, or so they think. Uranium is what we use for some nuclear fuel, right? That is why America wants to protect Ukraine from getting taken over by Russia, because we don't want Russia to have all the nuclear. We want to have it, but we don't want to have it bad enough to invade and take it. So, in my humble opinion, we either need to mind our own business, or if a country has something that we need, we go take it. Like, you're talking to a guy, I went to Iraq and Afghanistan, and we didn't take shit from them. Like, everybody wants to say, oh, well, we took all of Iraq's oil. I'm telling you right now, I was there for 18 months. We didn't barrel up any oil and send it home once. So I don't know if there was some sort of secret Navy SEAL team that was out there barreling up oil and mailing the shit home or what, but we weren't benefit from that war as a people. Now, obviously, Kellogg benefited, Halliburton benefited, a lot of the companies benefited that were supplying our troops, because it's a whole different conversation we're not even going to get into. Anyways, my point is, either it's important enough for us to go get it, or it's not. That's it. I'm tired of fighting everybody else's war and footing the bill too. We talk about this almost every single episode. I don't have a problem with America being the world's police, the world's bouncer, but you're gonna pay us. That's it. If we're coming to defend your country from a hostile takeover or whatever, you got to foot the bill. That's it. It's We can't keep writing checks. The American taxpayer can't keep paying the bill so some other country 9,000 miles away can be free. We have to stop it. That's insane. Anyways, we could talk about that for a year, I think. Other congressional activity, which isn't really congressional activity yet, but I'm trying to make it. So I've been ruthlessly trying to contact my Illinois State Senator, Tammy Duckworth. She is a veteran of the U.S. military, and I keep reaching out to her to try to get a meeting or try to get. Well, first it was just an email, and I didn't get a response to the email. So then I filled out the whole is a 2-page like action request form or something. So basically bringing up something that I saw and wanted fixed, and didn't get nothing back. So finally this week I found another form on her website to where it is a request for a meeting. And so today I completely filled out that form requesting a formal meeting with my state senator. So she's one of our Illinois representatives down in Washington, and I want to talk. I've been having a lot of trouble with my VA, my Department of Veterans Affairs care lately. In 2000, maybe like 16, President Trump signed a bill that was called the Mission Act. And what the Mission Act does is it guarantees veterans the right to seek care in the community, even if it's not a VA doctor. So I'll give you a real life situation that I went through, okay, with the COVID pandemic, right? My job says, hey, if you have COVID-like symptoms and you don't show up for work, then you have to go to one of our insurance-recognized doctors to say that you have COVID. Then we'll give you time off. Well, I don't have insurance through the state because I have it through the VA. So their list of doctors and my list of doctors didn't match up. So I went to the VA and I'm like, hey, I need a COVID test to say that I have COVID, obviously to get these 5 days or whatever it was, excuse off to work. And they're like, okay, no problem. All you do is go to any hospital, any emergency room, anything, and tell them that under the Mission Act, I'm here seeking care. I'm like, wow, I've never heard of that. Okay, did it. Went in there. Guess what? They sent me the damn bill. Of course they did. So upon researching all of this, because after that, I was like, well, obviously, if I can just go to the doctor in my hometown, or 15 miles down the road, I need to. That's way better than driving 2.5 hours to the VA. So I'm researching this, and yeah, all the stuff that our Congress and President Trump at the time signed basically states that if you are over 35 miles or 45 minutes from a VA hospital, that you are allowed to seek care in the community at the expense of the VA. And this bill was designed to make healthcare for veterans more easily attainable and less complicated, right? Less hoops to jump through. So the VA dentist office is 2 hours from my house. So I'm like, hey, I got a cavity or sore tooth or whatever, right? I need to go to the dentist. So all right, cool. We referred you to someone. They referred me to someone an hour and 15 minutes away. Now, if the law states that if I'm over 45 minutes away, you can refer me, why are you sending me somewhere an hour and 15 minutes away? Like, that's not even within the circle that the law states. So, on top of that, they've been sending me letters. So, they'll say, like, hey, trying to think. Okay, so I've been having a lot of knee pain. Like, I'm a hunter, and when I go out in the woods, I had to chase this deer it's like 1.5 miles for real, one way. So probably 3 miles in a day. I hiked, but it was up and down ravines and hills and 80-foot cliffs and whatever, right? So, and I'm carrying a bag and a bow and all that stuff, water. So not by any stretch of the imagination an easy hike. And it got to the point to where like the last mile or mile and a half of it or whatever, I'm the backs of my knees, like where your hamstrings connect to your knee joint and where the top of your calf connects to your knee joint, they are smoked, and I'm talking like insanely painful. Like I took all the narcotics prescribed to me. I took all the pain meds I had with me. Like, and I was having to stop like every 50 feet to take a break because it hurt so bad. It just they felt worn out and fatigued, whatever ligaments or tendons were in there. And so I contact my VA. I'm like, hey, got this problem going on. They're like, all right, cool. We're gonna refer you for care in the community since we're, our all that guy, obstetrician or I don't know, whatever the name of the doctor is. All right, cool. So I receive 2 letters in the same day. I'm gonna make up a day because I don't know the exact day. So I'm gonna say August 1st. I receive 2 letters, 2 envelopes from the VA. Open the first one. It says you are approved for care in the community from the VA for your knee pain. All right, cool. And it was dated, if I received it on October 1st, we'll say it was dated August 25th. I open the second letter, and it says, this is also on October 1st, postmarked. Same as the other letter. It says, Dear Mr. Well, I'm not going to say my name, but whatever. We have been unable to reach you regarding your knee pain appointment, and your care in the community has been canceled. And it's dated August 25th, the same as the first one. So on the exact same day I got approved for care, I was also sent a letter saying that if I didn't contact them back within X amount of hours or days or whatever it was, I don't remember exactly, that I would be disapproved for care. So what is happening is there's some fucking college intern or some piece of shit, yeah, I'm mad about it, in there who's going, well, to do my job and get my paycheck, I have 3 boxes of check. I received the referral, I sent out the referral, and then I sent out the notice that says if he doesn't contact us about this referral, it's canceled. Well, all that can't happen on the same day, and it is. And it happened to me. So this year alone, it has happened to me. I have a list. It's happened to me 8 times this year alone that I get the cancellation letter postmarked the same day as the acceptance letter. So I reached out to my state senator telling her about this problem 2 different times before today, and today I finally requested a formal meeting. So I might have to drive to Chicago or Springfield or something to figure out what's going on here. But like I said, she's a veteran. Hopefully, if it hits her desk, she's gonna look at it and be like, "Wow, this obviously isn't right." I have a big important audience down there in Washington. I'm gonna bring it up. So I always say on this show, don't talk about it, be about it. And I always say, if you're not happy about something, you reach out to your representatives, and I'm doing it. So obviously, I'm going to keep everybody updated, and hopefully, I'm going to chase this girl down, and we're going to get this shit fixed. But it's, and I'm not crying for me. I can make it through life. But if I'm a 30, how old am I? 37-year-old. If I'm a 37-year-old dude who's pretty technologically savvy, and pretty capable when it comes to, phones, computers, reaching out to people, all that stuff. Like, and they're treating me like this. Imagine what some 70 or 80-year-old veteran is doing. Like, if they tell him no, he's just gonna say, oh, okay, no, it must be a no then, and he's gonna go have to pay that $1,300 for a dental visit or whatever it is. If they're treating me like this, they're definitely treating the old guys and the less capable people worse. So I'm not crying for me. I'm crying for them other people. I don't give a shit if my teeth were out of my head because I missed a dentist appointment. Like, that's on me, right? But there are like 1.6 million veterans in this country who are incapable of figuring all this stuff out, who are incapable of getting on a computer or having a smartphone or a tablet to get this shit done. And that's the people that our representatives need to be in there in Washington, in the Congress, and in our Capitol building, state capitals even. That's what they got to fix. And it starts with someone like me being a loudmouth, hopefully making some trouble for somebody. Anyways, that's the congressional movement that I've had. Cake the Head says, if you're having these problems and you're a tenacious person, then there are tons of people that are and feel like they can't do anything about it. True. That's exactly what I'm saying. If I'm having the problems, I'm not the only one. And it happened to me, like I said, it happened to me 8 times this year. Take that times however many millions of veterans that we have out there. You know, it's how many of them are incapable of fighting for themselves? Probably a lot. How many of them are homeless, don't even know that they have the shit available to them, and then whenever they go apply for it, get told no. Sharpay lady, you in here? How many people don't know what they have available? Like we're not advertising the right shit. All you see, you watch Super Bowl from last year. The advertisements you're gonna see are, "Don't kill yourself. The VA is here to help." Yeah, well, are you? Like you spent 1.6 million dollars on a 30-second commercial for a Super Bowl ad, which you know is the most expensive airtime of the whole year. But you could have spent that 1.6 million dollars maybe doing something. Pisses me off. They're just trying to save face or whatever it is. I don't know. They're probably trying to convince the American taxpayer who aren't veterans that they're doing what they're supposed to do. That's what they're probably trying to do. I spelled Israel wrong. I see on this next thing. Man, I can't run for office. There's no way that they would accept me down there. I've seen guys with long hair and suits, and it just don't look right sometimes. And I don't not wear a hat. I'm going to Congress. I'm wearing a damn hat. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to my meeting. I'm wearing a hat. So unless you want a guy up there with a backwards hat and a goofy sunglasses, half his wardrobe's cut-offs. You know, I'm just not fit for that shit. And I'm not. There's no way I can get in there and deal with because you do have to be what's it called, tact, right? I got told this several times in my life that I don't possess the tact it takes to do the inner workings of government or any sort of hierarchy and you know, an employment or career or whatever. I'm just too upfront, and people these days, especially these days, can't handle just a blunt truth. You know, it's just different times, and I'm just not. You know, I bought my piece of dirt out here in the middle of nowhere. I'll stay here. I'm cool with it. All right, we got some news of the week here. You can follow this link. This is where I get most of my news. So the American Legion, basically picks like the top 5 stories or whatever of the week that they feel veterans and veterans' families would be most impacted by, and then they send them all out to us in email. Simple as that. And so, regardless of what your CNN says or Fox says or what NBC, ABC, whatever all the other ones are, MSN, what is MSN even a thing anymore? Probably not. Yahoo, whatever all those people say, the Legion sends out this email to us, and most of it's from like Stars and Stripes newspaper, Military Times, stuff like that. So it's pretty left or right wing. What I'm trying, non-biased. It's a pretty non-biased, I believe, news story. Probably the most non-biased source you're gonna find. And obviously the verbiage is geared towards veterans and service members because we understand acronyms and stuff that a lot of people don't. Google controls half the fucking world now. It's over. You can tell I'm getting some drinks in me now. I'm dropping an F-bomb about every 13 seconds. Sorry, PG viewers. We had an attack in southern Israel. Hamas attacks southern Israel, leaves more than 1,000 dead. Americans reported to be among the dead and missing. The attack was a broad stroke of violence that included rockets, suicide bombers, kidnapping civilians, and mass shootings. So first, what is Hamas? According to CFR.org, Hamas is an acronym for Harakat al-Maqawama al-Ilsamiyah. It's a bunch of Arabic shit I can't understand. I spelled that wrong. It's the Islamic Resistance Movement, shorthand. It was founded by Sheikh Ahmed Yassin, who is a Palestinian cleric who became an activist in local branches of the Muslim Brotherhood in the 1960s. So I got this short summary of facts from CFR.org, which I'm not affiliated with CFR.org. I'm not affiliated with any of these people that I link in this program. I just look at a bunch of different sources and I see basically which one is the least judgmental, and that's the one that I pretty much learn from every time. That's the one I share with you guys. So from CFR, the summary facts is Hamas is a spinoff of the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood in the late 1980s, the Islamist militant group. Hamas took over the Gaza Strip after defeating its rival political party, Fatah, in elections in 2006. So Fatah is the Muslim Brotherhood. Seems like it has two branches. One is the Hamas, one is the Fatah. And I'm assuming they're both acronyms. Well, we know the first one is. Fatah, also, I'm assuming, is an acronym. They had elections in 2006. Fatah was kicked out of office, or kicked out of power. They held power prior to that. The United States and European Union have designated Hamas as a terrorist organization because of its armed resistance against Israel, which has included suicide bombings and rocket attacks. So apparently this is not the first ordeal in the past 18 years, 17 years they've been in power, because they are on the U.S. and European Union list for terrorist organizations. Israel has declared war on Hamas following its surprise assault on southern Israel this year, the deadliest attack on Israel in decades. And that's crazy because Israel's always in the news, kicking somebody's ass or getting his ass kicked or whatever. So this is a big deal. I literally just learned about this today. I don't even know what day this happened. So all my knowledge comes from today and the research I did. But Iran provides, I put it, terrible writing. Iran provides Hamas with material and financial support, and Turkey reportedly harbors some of its top leaders. And I have in bright green on my sheet here, fucking shocker. At what point in time are we going to stop dicking around with Iran? Yeah, if your kids are watching, it's time to tell them to go home. At what point in time are we going to be done with Iran? Like, I'm not racist against any race. I'm not a religious fanatic or fanatical towards any religion or against any religion. I don't care, honestly, about much. Like, I've been on this show 100 times saying, I don't care if you're a man and you want to have a husband. That's your business. I don't care. I don't care if you own guns or don't own guns. I don't care if you want me to own guns or don't own guns. But, like, the point is for us all to get along, right? At some point in time. At what point in time do we all just start minding our own business? And, like, if you can't mind your own business, I go back to what I was saying earlier. We got to come do something about it then. If Iran's going to keep being a shithead and keep giving all these terrorist group money, why don't we just go turn them into a glass table? I don't get it. Because somebody might die? Fuck yeah, somebody might die. Somebody dies every day. No one's ever going to take us serious is the problem. That's what the problem is. No one is taking us serious. Especially since this administration has been in, no one is taking us serious because we're not pulling the trigger. He's got a giant red button there that can fix all the problems. Pisses me off. You can read more about Hamas from that CMS. This is just the basics. I will share this link in chat as well. From this website, it's got a lot of basic information about them. Like I said, I never heard of them before today, and apparently they killed Americans, so now I know about them, and now they're on my radar. So wish I was in better shape. An American citizen, Abby On, has been living in Israel for 8 years and claims that 5 members of her family were abducted by Hamas. I believe that. I think it's that website. It might be a different one where I got that information from, but it names her relatives and says like one of them's like her great uncle who's 80 or something. That these people they've abducted literally her family from their house, from their houses. Not necessarily all live together, but and they're holding them hostage, and that's all the news that we have right now. We don't know if there's. I don't know if there's demands. I'm sure someone does. We got the smartest people in the entire world working for our intelligence agencies, but I'll keep going back to Rome, man. A Roman citizen could walk from one end of the known earth to the other without fear of being persecuted because they knew that the entire power of Rome would come down on them. How is that? See, I'm gonna look it up real quick. Ah, yes. Civis Romanus was the quote. That is Latin for civis would be person of, right? And Romanus would be Rome, Roman. So a person of Rome could walk across the known earth without fear of persecution because the Roman government and military was so far-reaching and ruthless that even one wife who claimed her husband did not return home, they would go and find him, even if it meant taking over all of the Germanic forces. I'm down with that shit. One American, we got 5 Americans who just got kidnapped, right? Got took hostage. Kill them all. Even if there's some innocents. I mean, honestly, think about this. Even if there's some innocent people who die, because there's going to be in everything. Innocent people die in car wrecks by the thousands in America. Just saying. You know, if we go over there and blow up half a country, maybe their neighbors are going to be like, okay, America's done fucking around. But we finally got them mad. You know, like when they said about the World War II, whenever Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, they said you've awoken the sleeping giant, right? We all learned that shit in grade school. Well, we killed millions of innocent Japanese people. Like, did we just forget about that, or are we so scarred by it that we can't never do it again? Like, no, that's the only way to reach out and touch people in their heart is to melt some shit. And it's pretty much known that the U.S. has the biggest melters of anyone. We are smelters, yeah. So, anyways, in response to this, the USS Gerald R. Ford, the Navy's newest and most advanced aircraft carrier, and its approximately 5,000 sailors and deck of warplanes will be accompanied by cruisers and destroyers. So they call that a fleet. I don't know why the fuck this article drug it out so much. The USS Gerald R. Ford and its fleet are being moved. Let's see here. Will be accompanied blah, blah, and a show of force that is meant to be ready to respond to anything from possibly interdicting additional weapons from reaching Hamas and conducting surveillance. That article's fucked. So it doesn't even say where they're going. I think I messed that up. I probably messed that up in my copy paste. Like I said, I was putting this show together hard and fast today. They're getting redeployed to the Mediterranean somewhere. The Gerald Ford's fleet. So we will have, I would say, upwards of 20 warships in the area, which I don't know if you all know anything about warships. We don't use battleships anymore because it's antiquated technology. So what we use is carriers for everything, and then the carriers basically have a fleet around them to intercept any sort of incoming submarines or airplanes or anything like that, right? So in this entire fleet, there's no ground troops, is my point. So if right now, if we do anything about this attack in Israel, it's only going to be. Is that even it's got to be the Mediterranean. Maybe they're in the Mediterranean. Somebody look up. KK, look it up. Where's the Gerald Ford going? It's either in the Mediterranean going to like the Red Sea or something, or the other way around. But they're going somewhere. So we will have 100 airplanes or 50 airplanes or however many's on that thing in the area ready to intercept any sort of troops or basically it's defense only is what they're telling us is by putting the aircraft carrier there. It's a defense only mission. If they do something, we can respond, but we will not be taking any sort of initiative on anything. So I don't know if hopefully, I mean, I would like to see other countries deploy ground troops there, but I swear to God, if they're deploying American men and women to combat, we can't give another dime to Ukraine, Taiwan, China. I mean, we gotta start billing. We gotta start sending out the bill for this shit. Israel says it has brought in special forces to try and wrest control of 4 sites from Hamas fighters after the militant group launched its unprecedented incursion into Israel. On Sunday, yesterday, Israel formally declared war and gave the green light for significant military steps to retaliate against Hamas for Saturday's surprise attack. Okay, so the attack happened Saturday. There you go. I guess they could have red mounted shit. The Israeli military tried to crush fighters still in southern towns and intensified its bombardment of the Gaza Strip. The toll passed 1,100 dead and thousands wounded on both sides. Well, I'll tell you right now, Israel is one of the baddest fighting forces to ever be grouped together on our earth. They have defended their country for hundreds of years, usually with less people and worse technology than their opponents, and they are the most intense fighters that we've seen probably since the America's Greatest Generation, maybe. Even their women are bad as fuck. There's just no way to put it. Like, they got women in special forces that just eat our fat couch loving asses to death. They're bad, but if that isn't enough, recent satellite photos show a sharp increase in rail traffic along the North Korea-Russian border, indicating the North is supplying munitions to Russia, according to a U.S. think tank, which I have no idea who's in this think tank. That's why there's no names there. Speculation about a possible North Korean plan to refill Russia's munition stores drained in its protracted war with Ukraine flared last month when North Korean leader Kim Jong-un traveled to Russia to meet President Vladimir Putin and visit key military sites. Foreign officials suspect Kim is seeking sophisticated Russian weapons technologies in return for the munition boost. I'll just start that whole sentence over. Sorry. Foreign officials suspect Kim is seeking sophisticated Russian weapons technologies in return for the munition to boost his nuclear program. So basically, North Korea hates America. Russia seemingly hates America. They're teaming up too. So not only did we give all of our money to Ukraine, now we got our people getting kidnapped in Israel. Russia invaded Ukraine, and they're talking about invading Taiwan, who we give money to. North Korea is backing it all. And Iran. So, yeah. So most of the North Korean weapons, most of the weapons in the entire world that aren't owned by America, basically name the top 4 technologically advanced countries in the world. So America, England, France, Spain, Norway, and Sweden will count as one. Other than those 5 countries, everybody else in the world uses the same weapons. So they can send, like, if I go to North Korea for war, my rifle can't shoot the same rounds that North Korea's rifles are shooting. However, North Korea is using the same rifles as South Korea, Vietnam, China, Japan, Russia, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, India, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran. You see what I'm saying? All those guys share the same bullets, the same rockets, the same everything. And then us, other people over in the western side of the world, a very small percentage of us use different shit. For whatever reason. Because we have too much money, that's why. Just like what they say when the Russians went to space, or when the Americans went to space, they needed a way to write in a gravity-free zone, right? So they spent $1.7 million on inventing a gravity-proof pen. Do you know what the Russians did? They wrote their shit in pencil. That's the way we are, and you know that's part of our heritage. It's part of our building blocks as people. We'll spend the money and we'll get the good shit. And if a 5.56 millimeter round is better than a 7.62 millimeter round, we'll use it. Problem is, we don't get to do a whole lot of sharing. Then we got to spend a lot of money on our own munitions, and these people don't. North Korea can just truck over 10 million rounds to Russia, and it works right in their guns. They don't have to change barrels. They don't have to change chambers. They don't have to change bolts. Nothing. It just works. So the entire, basically, not Europe is that way. Whatever you call the rest of that, Asia, I guess, right? Russia's technically Asians. Amidst civil unrest in Kosovo, a contingent of reinforcements have taken up positions in Kosovo, where NATO is bolstering its peacekeeping mission as tensions have ratcheted up in the country. Britain on Friday sent the first of 200 soldiers to Kosovo, a deployment that was made at the request of U.S. Army General Christopher Cavoli, NATO's supreme allied commander. Oh, that wasn't enough earlier either, right? So yeah, now we're starting. We need forces in Kosovo again, because you remember we were there in 2000, something like that. Somebody help me out. Speedy, are you still in here, man? Oh, I just minimized my whole thing. That again. Just at all. Speedy, you're sleeping? Mel's sleeping. Who's sleeping? Oh boy. Yeah, Speedy. See when Google that and see when the U.S. had to go for the Kosovo independence. It was like 2000 or 2006, or it was pretty recent. So, anyways, the point is, we're there again. I mean, we're not, but we are because we requested troops there from another country, which we all know means we're going back there. We just ask somebody else for help until we can get there. So, be prepared, man. I don't think that America would ever be invaded by ground troops. So, like, I doubt that we'll ever end up in any sort of hand-to-hand combat or anything like that in our country, or where we have to get out the guns and go shoot out in the cornfields, right? Like, that's probably never going to be a thing. But uh, technological warfare is real, and if you don't think that if you have TikTok on your phone, they're not listening to you or monitoring you, they are. I guarantee you, if you've ever read the usage rights on that, do a shit in your pants. But somebody, hypothetically, if you had 40 guns and 30,000 rounds in your computer room, and you were on TikTok, and the Chinese knew exactly where you were, they might be starting to watch your computer activity, start seeing where you're getting your ammo from, say, or your guns. Who's your gun dealer, And then maybe that's a target. Maybe they'll take over your gun dealer's computer system and finances and banking, and maybe that turns into a bigger deal, like a place like, I don't know, I'm gonna name any specific websites, I guess, but uh, it could get bad, is all I'm saying. And I don't think it's gonna be any sort of physical war, but do I think that for a second that we're safe or untouchable here? Absolutely not. Um, I keep cash in a safe in my house because they might get my bank. That's a very realistic thing, I think. And I think a lot of Americans are fat and sassy on the couch and not thinking about Speedy. I would like you to search when the U.S. troops were in Kosovo, aiding Kosovo. I believe it was in its independence. It was like 2000 or 2006 or something like that. But war is afoot worldwide. That's where we're at. War is afoot worldwide, and it might not be the type of war that you see on hey, STFU lady. I'm gonna have to sell your car if you want a bunker. How about that? War's afoot though, for real. Like I said, I don't think we're ever gonna get invaded because I don't think anybody's got, even China ain't got balls that big, for real. But as far as like some sort of technology blackout, or like basically honestly like a digital version of 9/11 attacks. So 9/11 attacks, we all didn't have banking on our phones and every computer and tablet and all that stuff, but they took out basically how we all transferred our money, right? The World Trade Center. Imagine if they shut down the top 5 banks. So you got Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo. That's the big three, right? Imagine if everybody who had money in those 3 things couldn't access their money for, say, a week. Like for me and you, it's like, oh shit, I'll have to wait till next week to get groceries. But imagine how it is for, say, Henry Rockefeller. He's got $116 trillion in his bank, or whatever he does. I don't know, probably billions. But for those guys, that would be insane. It'd shut down a lot of money in our country. Anyways, moving on. I'll wait for Speedy to find out when we're in Kosovo. Were U.S. troops Last, how do you spell Kosovo? 1999. U.S. forces entered Kosovo in June of 1999 with the primary objective of bringing peace to that troubled land. The task, codenamed Operation Joint Guardian, proved exceedingly difficult. Oh, fucking course it did. So a guy I served with, a little bit older than me, he was in Kosovo, so that was pretty cool. I talked to him a lot about that. He actually ended up stabbing his wife in the neck on leave because she was cheating on him. But hey, to each his own. Moving on. Other topics. My daughter says that she won't watch the new Barbie movie and has no desire to see that stuff. Kind of made me happy that I got a little moment of a smile, right? She's a very outgoing girl, but also very shy at the same time. So like, she's interested in a lot of worldly things, but I asked her if she wanted to come on the show today and tell people that she don't watch that shit, and she was like, "Oh, nope, I'm good." So she's pretty shy too. But so she and I did some research on the new Barbie movie after she told me that she had no desire to see that stuff, and all of the girls in the Barbie movie are named Barbie, and all of the boys in the movie are named Ken. So black, white, and Mexican or Hispanic or ethnic of any sort, whatever the fuck, we're all ethnic, right? They're all named the same thing. So I don't know like what we're trying to teach our children here. And also, the new Barbie movie is rated PG-13, which means a 13-year-old would need a parent or guardian's permission or accompaniment to see the movie, right? How many people under 13 are a fan of Barbie? Isn't everybody's 5-year-old daughter a fan of Barbie? Why are they even making a movie for 13 or above whenever most of their target audience is under 13? You see what they're doing there? They're grooming. I'm telling you right now, they're grooming our children. And it's Hollywood. Now they're on board. Now they're grooming our children. It's just nuts to me where we're going. America has always been at the forefront of progress, but at what point in time does it become absurd? So I guess in this Barbie movie, for 13-year-olds, they talk about vaginas and penises, and also Ken asks if he could stay the night with Barbie, and there's also talk of how they don't have any genitalia, I guess. Like I said, I just Googled it, so I don't really know. But you're talking about a fan base that's 5, 6, 7 years old that we're talking about this shit to. And we're not just talking about it in our homes. You're putting this shit on national TV. We are promoting it. And not only promoting it, we're paying millions of dollars so they can promote it. I tell you, they might not be attacking us physically, but they're coming after us, huh? It's been hard to be a poor white man for about 15 years now, but every day, man, I'm so glad I got this little fucking Jose Santa Cruz. What up, Fresh? I'm glad you checked in, buddy. You know about the struggles of a white man. Tell him about it. Man, you just caught the end of the show. You'll have to check it out. It'll be on YouTube. I'll put it up there tomorrow. I got my YouTube link. Where? I did a terrible job this week. Oh, there it is, right there. So for everybody who missed the show's pretty much done. My last bit was about the new Barbie movie being a joke. There's my YouTube link. You can catch 20 of the previous 21 episodes on there. I appreciate you guys checking in. I ask that you please go to the YouTube, like, subscribe, whatever they call it on YouTube. Something else. Anyways, do all that shit to my channel on YouTube. I don't get no money or nothing from it. It's just to help spread the word and make my channel more popular so it's suggested more and more people could see it, etc. But Cake says, right, like it's a kids movie, why is it the same age rating as Friday the 13th? Right, that's what I'm saying. So me and my daughter looked up some age ratings of different movies, and I was like, yeah, so, you know, and I taught her where the age rating comes from. You know, the MPAA or whatever movie, whatever it is. You guys know what I'm talking about, and how they get that. Um, so she learned a lot about that today, and then after she got done learning, she also expressed how she thought it was weird that the movie was rated PG-13, because she's the one who actually told me. She was like, but I know I've got 5 and 6 year old cousins that are super excited to go see this movie. They've got Barbies in their room, and it it rekindled the little girl dream that everybody has, the perfect world and the pink house and all that stuff. But then they made it for people that are gonna be driving cars in 2.5 years. Like, wait, what? It's they're grooming. That's all it is. There's no way. Mel says they know exactly what they're doing our whole lives. That one part in the original Pinocchio about the boys that go to Pleasure Island. I don't know what you're talking about with the Pinocchio reference, but it's grooming is all it is. It's grooming on a broad scale. I saw one the other day. It was pretty good. It says, it was like, how can the IRS come up with a list of people who didn't pay their taxes in 30 days, but we still can't come up with a list of guests at Epstein Island? I get it. Like, we let too much shit slide. It's our fault, and there's only one way to make a difference, and it's not an armed overthrow or nothing crazy like that. But if you want to learn how to make a difference, get a hold of me. I appreciate everybody checking in. I shared my YouTube for anybody who missed an episode who would like to catch up. That's the YouTube link. Let's see here if I can get a. Here is the link to my Discord. So for anybody who has Discord, you want to continue the conversation or talk about anything, reach out to me. Shoot me a message in Discord. That's my Discord. We're always in there doing shit, playing games, watching football, NASCAR, all types of stuff, right? They don't come back as boys. What does that in the original Pinocchio? You're talking about like the old cartoon one? Babe, is that what you're talking about? The old cartoon one? Fuck, I don't remember that at all. Now I'm scared. Now I don't want to watch it. But anyways, I'm in the stream, so don't worry about it today. We'll talk about it next week. Put that shit in the going on for next week. So you guys got my YouTube link for any old episodes. Here is the Patreon I just started. Speedy, thank you for being our first Patreon subscriber, man. It means a whole lot to us. You always do fantastic things. You're a huge help to me and everybody that you mod for, man. I know there's a bunch of us that you mod for. We will have a special guest next week. Not gonna give away who it is yet, so make sure you tune in for that. Let's see if we can go find a raid. I should have done this earlier. Wonder who's streaming today. Ooh. Yep, I know who we're raiding. Gotta figure out where my chat window went. There it is. Got it. All right. All right. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for checking in. Yeah, like I said, get on the YouTube if you want to see anything past. Not all of them are as long or in depth as this episode is, but every one of them is me talking about the stuff I talk about. So I'm gonna get out of here. We're gonna go raid American Pride Gaming. He is also a veteran of the United States military. I'd appreciate if you guys would join me in this raid. That means stay tuned for the next couple of minutes, basically, and it will spike his viewership for a moment. And tell him that the Patriotic Veteran sent you over from the Patriot View. We're gonna go to our ending credit screen, and I will watch and read for you. Thank you all for watching. If you or anyone you know would like to be on the show, please reach out via Discord or email at patriotviewttv@gmail.com. Veterans, if you need to talk, call a brother. Reach out to our team via Discord or call the Veterans Crisis Line by dialing 988. going to veteranscrisisline.net for online chat, or texting 838-255. You are all invited to join us for NASCAR and NFL Sundays in Discord at the link that I just posted in chat. We're there almost every Sunday, enjoying sports activities together. Please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/PatriotView. I would be so grateful if you could find it in your hearts and in your wallets to make a donation. I give a special thanks to Verdict for the music for the intro video, and rest in peace, Chris, the lead singer of that band, passed away, and they made great music back in the day. The break video of Redwood National Forest was from the National Park Service at youtube.com/@RedwoodNPS. And as I always say, don't talk about it, be about it.